Well, I was talking to KS before we started, so he said they're feeling pretty good about this, so we'll see how they are, at least in the map vetoes. So let's see which maps here are removed. Of course, Consulate and Coastline are both removed from this game, as they haven't played by both teams in our previous
What? No
play.
Coastline? Actually, that's a good map for both these teams, too. That would have been a good one to see.
All right, Oregon being banned out by G2 makes a lot of sense. You really don't want to play on Oregon.
I gotta imagine we're gonna get border between these two teams. That's the one I think is the more likely, but a Clubhouse or Villa would certainly be interesting.
I haven't seen much of Clubhouse, and we're left with the two. Are we gonna see Villa again? I guess we're gonna go for Clubhouse.
No, Clubhouse. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Clubhouse lately, so that'll be interesting to see. You know how teams have slowly evolved it in the meantime, but
I think with the addition of Maverick. It was a very popular map in the first half.
Yeah.
Introducing Maverick kind of shut the whole thing
I think
down.
it's the best map for Maverick overall.
Yeah, and that's why you're not going to see it play. Maybe we'll see a Maverick ban in here. But take a look at our community vote. We do care about what you guys have to say, so we'll see what you got to say about this one. Oh, boy.
I feel like you could give Mockit a little more than that, but honestly, I mean, it's pretty easy to put your money on G2, especially this late in the season when they've already proven to be fairly consistent.
Yeah, 89% is pretty darn high.
Yeah.
I would actually, personally, if it were me, I would have put 70% for G2, 10% on a draw, and then a 20% possibility for Mockit. They've been seeming pretty darn okay at what's going on during the game. However, Mockit's wins and matches have not been too coordinated. They haven't really gotten a perfect strategy down. It just seems like things break down at some point and then somehow they recover. I don't believe that many teams can do that against a team like G2, but we'll see. Maverick,
there it is.
First ban.
Of course.
Who would have thought? It's like we know what we're talking about.
It's like Maverick is pretty good on one map. And outside of that, doesn't see a lot
They
of
didn't
play.
ban Lion!
Whoa,
Lion isn't banned!
So 2 hard breachers banned. I mean, it's not Habana and Thermite, but that's 2 hard breachers. And no...
G2 did not ban Lion!
That is a very good point. That is a dangerous game to be playing. But G2 have a decent line play as well.
This is a map that can
double bamboozle, as they say.
It can work here. You don't have to ban Lion on a map like Clubhouse. So you know, Mira ban here.
These top floor attacks are going to be tricky. It's definitely going to be down to good Habana play for sure, because you don't have any other options for those walls.
Duty. Well,
go with the thanks there. He doesn't get to play his Thermite.
And Clash banned. Okay. Thankfully, Clash is banned here because things end up getting very sloppy with no hard breachers, or 2 of them banned, and Clash available. So I'm kind of glad that we got this sort of setup with the bans. G2 banning both new operators, at least Grim Sky. We'll see. KS might be playing a lot of Ashe today, so
that would be interesting.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing a lot of Thermite for a while and things like that. Obviously can't this time because it's banned. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We are going to get a mute, actually, out from G2. So it should be interesting for the Church. Now, obviously, it makes a lot of sense that they're starting downstairs, because that's a good one for the particular lineup. Because Habana, I would say, can open a lot of the hatches, but is not going to be able to do much outside of that without Thermite being available or without Maverick being available. But at the same time, I think Cash would be a better choice to start with the bans.
For Sverige, as Fabian would like to say. I mean, the interesting part here is obviously Church pushes are not really going to be that, that powerful, that potent, as Thermite is not available. You can't really combo the Habana and the Maverick.
Yeah, usually it's going to be moto drop kind of attacks, right?
Yeah. So we'll get to see probably a push from Blue, trying to go into the site.
Yeah.
From there, maybe with some support from the kitchen. G2 usually like to go for Mute plus Bandit. Not on this site, however. So possibly when if we get to Cash Room, we get to see both operators being played at the same time with a Jaeger on Kanto. That has been working out pretty darn well, but G2 wasting no time as they go for the spawn peaks over by the warehouse, and they're trying to take down Lion. It's like, well...
Yeah, Rips is going to have to play smart and stay back, because a team like G2, if they see the opportunity, will take him out.
I mean, everybody says that there's no counter for Lion, and then you're like, just shoot him, lol. So maybe that's the strategy they're going for. And Corey is not wasting any time, already coming down to central stairs, and locking down the center hallway. And interesting enough, G2 have left the side wall into Armory soft, and Corey with 2 minutes 14 is already down.
There's the
in Memorial.
Drop.
That's the first kill. He just moves in, but Kanto with the refrag. He didn't even need to open up the hatch. They weren't expecting someone to just walk down the stairs.
And it wasn't even the Ash to go for the entry like that. Although KS trying to follow that up for sure. But that was a good start. I would say that was somewhat of a worthwhile trade, especially if he was able to use any nades first. Taking out the Maestro is a good kill, especially when there's a Maestro Echo combo like that. So not too bad there, Corey.
It's a pretty good start here, but of course you lose the buck. You lose the ability to get the picks from the top floor.
Not the most important thing. You still can, even if you want to, use Ash Recharge just to open up holes in the floor. You know, there's still opportunity there, and that's not the most important attack strategy outside of the Arsenal side, which they're not even going for. So
what I like is that G2 are still leaving Yunus all the way in the back on the pulse, so he can watch the rotations, but unfortunately he gets tagged pretty darn low by his opponents that are trying to come in from garage storage and from the oil pit. They'll move in, so Lion is able to detect the opponents, and unfortunately with no grenades, because the buck went down, you can't take... Oh, no!
Ooh, good trades.
Easy kill here with Kanto Raketti on the refrag on Buck O'Brien. It's 3v3. It's instant refrags from Kanto.
This has so far been a very back and forth round, more so than I would have expected, especially with 53 seconds left here in a 3v3, but a lot of utility left from both sides.
I wonder if there's a mute jammer there that has already been set by Kanto. Of course, if you're on the jammer, then you can't get spotted by the Lion E1D. Kanto with a third one here, taking down Vale. 4 kills for Kanto Raketti with KS shot down. Rips all alone, and Kanto Raketti, round number 1, gets the ace, and the carry rocket is very much running on full blast.
Absolutely. I gotta say, I appreciate the attack from Mockit with some early aggression there. Unfortunately, the problem with the way they were attacking was I liked that they were attacking from multiple sides, but it wasn't simultaneous often enough. It was very much one person peeking and then one person peeking and one person peeking. They won some of those, they lost some of those, but then towards the end, the manpower was not there enough to be coordinated to actually get a significant push, and it just came down to Kanto doing what Kanto does, playing well. But some good picks there coming out from Mockit that were just maybe a little stronger than I would have expected from that level of attack, but I think they kind of caught G2 off by surprise. It was nice, though, in that taking down the Maestro early did make it so that you saw that Evil Eye that was in Moto wasn't able to do a whole lot outside of spot them at that point. We don't even know what angle it was looking at. Do people know? Sneaky little 6-pick there from Pengu. But they are going to be going to Cash now, which makes sense. That is going to be your primary.
Jaeger Bandit. It's as if I mentioned just that.
Yep, and with Thermite and Maverick gone, it is down to Hibana trying to open that. They're not bringing in Thatcher, though, so they are just going to try and deal with it the old-fashioned way. Let's try and open it up. Now, usually in this case, the way you're going to deal with that is a Zofia, but they're not bringing that on Mockit. So they have the possibility maybe even to try and use some fire arrows to try and pull Bandit off after they try and take out the batteries or mute jammers, depending on how they want to do it. Although I guess you can kind of double up in a way, but doesn't really give you any benefit to do so. So we'll see how they're going to try and hold this.
Usually what G2 do is that they set up a couple of disruptors outside of the main part of the site just to make sure that drones have a bit of a rougher time trying to get into it. But they'll put the Bandit and the Mute in a position where they can both rotate back and forth to try and burn any equipment.
Yeah, oh, nice placement there on top of the lights from Goga. Nice little sneaky spot that's going to be hard to spot, especially since they're not running IQ or anything that's going to give them any additional intel on that. KS, though, with an early entry doing what Ash does, just rushing on into sight. It's not going to be Corey doing that this time as he's on the Blackbeard. But he is still getting dangerously close to a fight here. They're actually going for a roam down here on the stairwell.
And KS, in the meantime, trying to weed out any opponents downstairs, expecting a possible pulse. Yunus indeed playing the operator, but he's playing all the way on the opposite side by the bedroom. Now, because there's only Hibana available, we're like, okay, we're going to grab a sledge. With the sledge, we can open up the hatch to go into the side office, and then from there, trying to pinch out any defenders in bedroom and have a good spot to play off of there. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and Corey's already lost one of his shields.
Yeah.
So
not great. It's definitely a situation where there's only really a couple ways to push the site, and they're going to try and counter most of them. You have the denial in the site with the Bandit, and then as you mentioned, Eunice trying to play denial for logistics office. It's going to be very hard to get this open. They don't have a lot of utility on Mockit that really helps with that, outside of, I would say the Capitao. As I say that.
They have opened up the top side of the garage because the Habana just uses one of the charges. You can lock down any rotations from garage through the window back into B. But because there's another rotation hole that's opened up by G2, they kind of negate that whole strategy. So you don't have to deal with exposing yourself against the Habana. And KS gets the shot. Fabian will be the first one to go down. But a quick refrag. Kanto Raketti yet again not leaving any quarters for Mockit.
Good use of the line there to try and catch out Eunice, which is definitely going to help, but they're having a trouble hitting the Echo drone.
That's information here that's been relayed to Rips, and through the drone info, able to get the kill on Eunice. So advantage for Mockit with Kanto Raketti low on health. Will have to fall back. They want to reset him, but there you go.
Those tender moments.
The thing is here, Mockit are now going for a very unidirectional attack.
Yeah, this tends to stall out. We see this a lot from Rogue, for example, as a team I know that really concentrates on this type of attack and tends to stall out because fights on the doorway don't tend to work out very well because the angle tends to benefit the players in cash more.
Because the bandit was putting Kanto back up, we're not able to take down those X-Kairos. Corey moving in, but there's nothing here being displayed by G2 as Corey just finds the headshot on Pengu, takes him out, no control on the Bearing 9 as Corey will get one. Kanto Raketti with the refrag, he's on 50% health, can't get the second one as Rips into him with the Lion. The V308 will win this one out as Mockit are able to get the round. It was a close one, I have to say. The picks though, the way that Mockit played it, running through the lower side, the basement, and then moving back up from it to push from the bedroom. Yeah, worked out very well for them instead of focusing too much on garage.
Yeah, and it was a nice play from KS. Yeah, clear it going from the bottom up, and then he had that nice pick on Fabian in the garage itself that also took a C4 off the board. It was a good initial kill, and then I think the follow-ups as well, taking down Eunice first to make sure that they could secure that side of the map and push solid from there. And then good plays as well from Corey on the Blackbeard. Yeah, he lost one shield early, but his shield gave him the opportunity to peek that doorway a lot safer than other operators would. As I was just saying, you know how it's advantage to the defenders in that doorway, but if you have a shield on your face, that tends to help negate some of that advantage. Here's the first Zofia that's going to be coming out from Mockit, though, as a 6th pick, and they are actually bringing a Thatcher this time. It's back to cash.
It's a bit late of a Zofia. I think she offers so much that you really would like to have her as much as possible.
With the Thatcher and a Zofia, it makes it fairly easy to get that wall open if they're coordinated on it, which I got to imagine they are. So there's a good chance they won't have to attack from the construction connector this time. It should be primarily from the outside wall, maybe with a push into garage, depending on how they want to play it, because you still need to pinch a little bit. Otherwise, you're just shoving yourself through one hole.
Yeah, and usually that doesn't really work out too well for you because all you have to do is just watch the one position. You have the Maestro plus the Echo at the same time. Yeah, you're not going to live through that.
Absolutely not. But they are going to take advantage of setting up a lot of rotates for themselves as well. So it's going to be down to a good flank watch also in terms of making sure they don't get too overly focused on opening that wall, that they start to negate a lot of the flanks, a lot of their flank watch. Because you do have to coordinate a lot of operators in that. And they are potentially, if you're going to do the Zofia play, usually do that from the cache window.
Oh,
but as I talk about flanks,
Yuna's so close to getting it, but Vale just pulls around the corner at the last second.
Such an important kill, too, because, of course, that is the only available hard breacher.
Oh,
so,
God.
Eunice, with almost a 10,000 IQ play, unfortunately, just doesn't land enough shots.
Is that even possible on the IQ scale? I think it ends at like 200. Like, actually.
Unfortunate.
He's so smart. There's no level on the IQ.
He outsmarted the IQ test. All right, there's the first Thatcher going down. That's going to clear the batteries. Now we're going to have him potentially tricking here.
Yep, easy trick for Pengu, and he should be able to get the second discs. Yes, he will. So now picks up the battery and falls back. Pretty easy here. How many X-Kairos are still available? Can we look at that, Marcio, for just a second?
That's 2 batteries and 2 X-Kairos. So that's enough to open up a hole still. The first one could have just been a bait to get the 2 batteries back on the wall. However, he's going to use them on garage door instead.
Yeah, so he's going to be left with only 1, and Mockit might have to go for the same style of attack as he did before, which is get in, take control of construction, and then try to push into the set from there. But G2 are not going to give them...
and they don't have Blackbeard this time to peek that door.
Yep, so they got to be careful on Kanto Raketti. Got the first one on Vale. No more opportunities with the Habana as she is now dead. KS will get one on Kanto. That's the refrag. The C4 will not hit Corey. taking down Pengu. Unnecessary peeks there, I have to say, from G2. After getting that pick on the hard breach, just sit back and wait. And Yunus will try to get aggressive here down in...
Ooh, Goga, nice play.
Goga with the hit on Corey, ties it up 3-3, but there's still the Maestro alive, and Yunus is alive still. I wonder if he still has AC4, but trying to pre-fire the Lion here as Rips is just going to fall back in destruction.
There's no more EE1Ds left either, so that's going to give Yunus the opportunity to go for this flank. A good chance he's going to get the kill this time, but KS is actually watching that angle. Well done on the flank watch there. That's what I was talking about earlier, is that flank watch is going to be very important, but he gets off of it now.
It's a 3-3 with 35 seconds left. You don't really have the opportunity to keep holding the angles. The manpower is fairly low for Mockit. They're going to have to walk into the site, into the lineup with the fire here.
Yeah.
As Kantaroketti might be dead, but his ADS is definitely trying to do the work. Goga will get one. KS trying to peek against it as Fabian holds the angle across Baka. Brian with one. Walks right in to the line of sight against the Echo. That's a he goes down, and there we go. Go for the finisher. They can't pick him up. It's Yunus to get the finisher here. The Bearing 9 already dropping Baka Brian.
Unfortunately, they just didn't seem to have a lot of utility left for the actual push. I'm not sure if Zofia even had any charges left, because that would have been the perfect opportunity to use them for that push to get people at least stunned behind that, or maybe even use the grenade side to try and do some damage to anyone hiding on the other side of that little cache, what is it, cabinet table, whatever you want to call it. So, unfortunate, not another win, but that means they could go back to church now. So they both won and lost on cash, but they cannot play cash again. Chances are probably not going to see Gym Bedroom from G2 if they don't need to.
No. Even though it has been a pretty darn strong site, running it with a castle has definitely been successful for teams, especially a team like Secret, for example. We're going to see later. So
it certainly helps though if you've banned two of the hard breachers, so that does make it a little bit easier. Unfortunately, you can't impact Nate Trick anymore though.
Yep. Those were part of the changes that we had in this. Kantaroketti with 8 kills in the first 3 rounds.
Literally double the top fragger in the other team, Corey.
Yeah, well, he got the ace in the first round and then just kind of continued off of that.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Goga's on the Echo again. Fabian's on the Maestro. So I guess so far things are working. Last time, though, in the defense, G2 in here, Blue was not secured correctly, and it ended up with a pulse of Yunus just falling back and taking a lot of damage and just being pushed by 2 players, one from Blue Stairs and one from the old pit.
Yeah, Yunus has been playing this pulse pretty consistently, which is, I'd say, working with mixed results. I mean, it's hard to tell what kind of intel he's relaying to his team a lot of times, especially if we're not watching him. It's a situation where, without hearing the comms, there might be a lot of work coming from Yunus, or maybe just not much at all if he's getting picked and pushed back a lot. He is being aggressive in terms of roam, though, and that is the one thing they have some advantage on. Fortunately, Baka Brian not catching anyone at the right time there.
Yeah, can't find the angle in Yunus, as Yunus will fall back down to Blue and just sit up behind the engine.
So they're taking fairly aggressive map control, which is good, that they are giving themselves time. There we go, Corey getting a kill on Kanto as well. That's the top fragger from the team versus the other top fragger from the team, and now Corey, the advantage.
I have to question that decision-making there. A bit too aggressive, in my opinion. And there you go. They'll find the Maestro. Fabian going down. Can't get the spray on Corey. As now the opening is right there for Mockit.
He's playing the Thatcher like it's an Ash.
Yeah, they have the 2-man advantage, and you just walk in. They'll have to worry about Yunus. But with the manpower advantage, with the amount of time that's left, Mockit should be able to attack from multiple angles and not have to worry about Yunus kind of blindsiding them. And we'll see already the drones coming down the oil pit to scan the back.
Well, they're going to have to deal with some of this utility here. They could, even if they wanted to, take out some of the mute jammers with those EMPs, which I imagine they have done. That's the second EE1D, which is going to be the only thing that really kind of locks Yunus down in that position.
Yeah, and Rips is coming in from the oil pit. So that's something they can definitely focus on. Pengu will get 1 kill on Baka Brian. He's already done a decent chunk of work, I guess, with his Zofia charges. But you'll see Armory sidewall is still open. They could walk in here and just go for the plant, and I think that's what Mockit are planning to do.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the right timing. They have a minute left, though, to play with the setup for this and man advantage.
Rips has no more E1Ds to play with. And you'll see, there you go, the pulse is spotted, the spray in, his KS will get one. They're trying to find them here on the side, but Yuna somehow surviving the fight. Corey getting another one on Penguin. It's a 3v1 with little health for Eunice. He's spotted in the back and getting pinged as there's a drone right in the oil pit. And Chaos going in for the finisher. Attacking side of Mockit, taking the round yet again on Church.
Well, so far it's tied 2-2. Church, definitely a good attack for them. Last time they weren't able to finish the attack and win, but it got very close both times here. In this case, did go over to them. They're going to, of course, go back to Church for their final defense. They don't want to really play anything but Church and Cash, and, well, if they don't have to, they're not going to. So we'll see a similar lineup here. It looks like coming from G2, although they could 6th pick off that. And, well, the same lineup again coming from Mockit as well. So we're just going to see the third redo of this attempt. See who comes out the third time, as it's been 1-1. And that will be whoever wins this, of course, goes into advantage for the side switch. We see that a lot, of course, in this game now with the way things are set up. A lot of 3-2s halfway through.
Yep. But here, looking at the bans and the way things are set, would you give the advantage to the attacking side or for the defense?
Oh, absolutely not, for the defense. I mean, outside of the mirror ban, it's not a big deal. Clash is certainly not important, and G2 struggled with Clash last time they tried to run it anyway, so I don't think that was going to be a big deal. Of course, G2 was the one to ban it. So it was really just a situation where I don't think there was much taken off the table for the defenders. Definitely target the attackers way more.
So we should be looking at a 3-2 scoreline for the defensive side here in this first half, if statistics are, map
absolutely.
stats have anything to do with this.
Now, of course, that comes down to whether or not G2 keep overly aggressively peeking. To be fair, though, Kanto does win a lot of his gunfights doing that. It's maybe more of the other defenders on G2 that are peeking to situations where they're not winning these gunfights. We have even seen a few situations where some of the players that normally have faster reaction time have not been able to make the clicks at just the right time. So it seems like that, especially for Mockit, they seem a little on edge, a little aggressive in their play, and it seems to affect a lot of their gunfights as well.
I mean, they just walk into the site. The Buck did it the first time. The second time was Thatcher. So I have to question it. I understand why there was the peak, because they are trying to counter, or G2 are trying to counter the thing that Mockit did in the very first round, attacking in Church, but not like that.
Well, either way, it was Corey both times.
Yeah?
So I think he just doesn't care what operator he's on. He just wants to get in there quick. Yeah, we're not even seeing him make use of his breach charges that he's bringing. It's just all about using his few EMP grenades and just going for shots at that point. But he is clearing a lot of utility. He could even stop the pulse scanner for a second if he happens to hit near enough to pulse. Which, I mean, that's not a big deal, but he's going to use all of his EMP grenades just on this one stairwell to clear anything out, which is good for Pengu's goo mines to go away as well, so they can push in more aggressively. But Eunice actually staying more aggressively in Moto this time. They've formed sort of a beachhead here, so that is definitely one big denial of something they've been doing previously.
Yeah, that's the thing. Waste a lot of time for Mockit, because that's the big advantage that they've been having. They come in with manpower advantage, and they have so much time to play with. It's not really something of an advantage you want to give Mockit on this sort of attack. And Eunice even playing inside of Church, at least for now, instead of what we saw before, is playing inside of Blue. So they'll have Goga guarding this with the Yokai.
This is a much safer position for Eunice to be in, and he's calling out a lot of information on these attackers as they move around. It's not going to really lead to much, because you kind of know where they're going to be already for the most part, unless you're calling for, say, Kanto to peek.
The thing is, Mockit have seen that this wall is still not reinforced, and now it's completely open by KS's breaching round. So we can just walk on in and go for the plant as everybody G2 is moving. Kanto Raketti with a pre-fire, though, taking down Corey. The advantage here for G2 as they'll get two more. That's the Ash and the Zofia auto play. Rips a bit too slow on the rotation into utility room. Just spotted in Blue. They know he's in there, and Veil's on the opposite send of it. Be able to take down one. Skoga down on the floor, so no more Echo, no more Yokais. The angles here should be easily held by G2 as Kanto Raketti will find one. Rips is spotted, and Kanto quickly dispatches him. G2 takes the first half 3-2.
Much better defense by G2 that time. They were much better set up to counter the aggression. Then once Moto control started getting taken, they pushed back. They had Eunice in a much safer position as well, playing by the reinforced wall in Church, because of course they know that reinforced wall is not going to get taken down. So that gives them a big advantage in terms of how they can play inside Church. Now, interestingly enough, with the side switch, Mockit are actually going to go to Gym Bedroom first, and of course, Corey going to use his 6 picks just to tease us with the Tachanka. No, he's actually going to switch off to Castle first. Can't imagine he's going to 6 pick over to Tajanka, so that was just for our amusement, I suppose.
He's a very funny guy.
Hilarious. Goga going to bring out Glass, something I felt like he kind of dropped off on for a while.
Yeah, we used to see a lot of that on Eunice, but Capitao has kind of gone back to a pretty darn good
Eunice I was
position.
thinking about.
Yeah. So you have Capitao that has 2 smoke bolts that you can target exactly where you want them to go. So you can use those in tandem with the Glass, in tandem with his smokes as well, to make sure you can lock things down. So here, especially in sort of bedroom defense, if I'm Mockit, I am doing everything I possibly can to make sure G2 don't get a plant. If they do, it's a very difficult retake.
Yeah. Well, they do at least have the Echo to help with that, and KS going to be bringing the Alibi, of all things. So they're definitely playing very differently than G2. Different bomb site, different operators outside of some of the basic ones, but...
It's interesting that he's reinforcing the middle of the wall here. Usually what you see is the entirety of the wall opened up by a smoke.
Yeah, you don't want anyone to plant in there.
And now smoke has not been played really. So it's another thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, we haven't seen a smoke.
So they have different strategies in mind. Smoke has been a very strong operator on Church and upstairs in the bedroom. Buck O'Brien trying to go for the peek here as he finds the side of the Lion. Fabian, of course, well known for playing the operator.
He loves Lion.
Oh, yes, his favorite operator.
100%. Well, Buck is going to back off there. Not really anything going to happen with that for now, but he does need to stay alive later into the round because, as you were saying, there's no smoke, so he's the only real site denial that they have for plant, especially if they reinforce that middle wall we were just talking about. That offers more opportunity for Jim to be planted in. So I got to imagine there's probably a yokai in that room. This is again, Baka's still overly aggressively peeking. I mean, if you kill the Lion, that's a really good advantage, but if you lose the Echo, big problem for you.
I don't think he's going to peek it again. Just fall back and remaneuver your yokai.
He's keeping Fabian busy in the meantime, but he hasn't used any of his E1Ds just yet.
And that's the thing. Fabian understands that using the E1D means that you have to put it in tandem with other stuff that your team is doing. But this is all trying to delay any run out from the kitchen, and the E1D is well timed here, even though Fabian probably doesn't know this, or maybe he does, who knows. 3 billion IQ.
KS, though, with the first kill onto Kanto and Eunice. That was 2 very important kills. The only other one I would say is important is Pengu, and Vale cleans that right up.
There you go. Easy kills here for Mockit. It's Fabian and Goga, the last 2 alive. No way for Goga to combo his smokes here. Already 2 of them have been used. And, oh, he spots the leg! He's waiting until they come up to him. Buck O'Brien will be able to get 1 more as Fabian runs up by the stairs. Use the E1D to his advantage, but maybe too little too late here as multiple angles are being taken by Mockit. Corey gets the last spray in with his UMP playing inside a bedroom. And all he needed was just tiny pixel of the foot to start the spray in and Mockit to tie it up.
Yeah, unfortunately for G2, the top of that stairwell, or the stairwell itself, was pretty much the death trap for most of that round. Just led to a lot of problems for him. You see Fabian even trying to use it at the end. Just so much time spent between him and Baka Brian as well. I mean, maybe he didn't need to be doing anything else at the time, but...
The question is, why?
Yeah.
Every single time we've seen a bedroom attack, the most efficient ways are you either try to push from the jacuzzi, but you're kind of worried about possible mute, etc. So you're going to go in other ways. Where you're going to head
you open
beyond
the gym window.
You're going to go window to play from gym window, from bedroom window, and you're going to go from the server room through into cache, and at the same time, maybe bring a sledge or something, or an ash even, or the buck in this case, open up the hatch in leading to construction in the office, and then try to play from there. Hold different angles so you can lock down the rotations, and in this case, none of that was done. And G2 just kind of rushed up the stairs and died.
Well, we are going to see the first smoke come out from Corey, so they're going to be a little bit safer this time on cache, but it was nice to see a successful gym bedroom defense, which means we may or may not see that bomb site again. Very likely to, though, if it is their primary and not just a gimmick play for or like a pocket strat. But they are going to have a lot more site denial. This time I also kind of count Legion somewhat in that as well, just because you cannot plant while you have goo mines in your feet, so it can be played a lot more as site denial, or could just be played for more intel. Some variety in how you want to play that particular operator. But Baka Brian is going to be back on that Echo again. Now, they are bringing the same lineup they brought last time, which unfortunately did not work out, mostly due to the way that they entered and just funneled themselves into a lot of the defenders in situations where they didn't have any advantage because they had to fight 2 directions at once. And we saw how that worked for Fabian towards the very end when he went to get the diffuser. Could not look both ways at the same time. Kanto, though, is going to do for a fast entry similarly to Corey. And they're going to, for whatever reason, try and contest Vale here. But at least have an angle open. That's actually going to give them some advantage.
He's getting shot from the window here. Is the angle, the rotation hole that they have opened up kind of plays against him. You see where Pengu is all the way up top? He's got a clear angle all the way down. And Vale, if he puts himself in a wrong spot with that rotation hole, you can find the angle to get the shot on him. So
it's surprising to see he's not playing the corner like a lot of players do.
Oh, there you go. They're going to try to use the smoke here to back off and fail. Fortunately for G2, will be able to get the kill on Goga, eliminating the Glaz in here. And the smoke piling right up top to make sure Jonas cannot come in. Unfortunate for G2, but the pings were definitely in the favor of Mockit. 2 more coming in here as Jonas and Pengu, last 2 alive. The Capitao trying to peek against Vale here. Vale will hit the last shot. Final bullet in the magazine. Will connect. Havana gets the spot. Pengu taking quite a bit of damage here as he eats 1 more Go Mine. Extra bit of damage on
might
top.
Just die from that.
There you go. Take it out of your foot. Baka Brian is just watching the angle from the stairs. And it's a 1v4. Pengu has done a lot in the past, but even he might not be able to pull this one off.
He's got a lot of time to play with, but and 2 operators that are fairly low on the defense. He could potentially take out Rips and Vale. But even if he does, there's so much working against him. Nope.
Let's go!
He caught him! Pengu, I choose you.
Oh, God. What was that? From downtown!
Wow.
Boom!
A nice throw there. 3-pointer. Well, that is another successful defense here coming out from Mockit. Now they take the point advantage, 4-3. So now they're going to go to their 3rd bomb site, Church, which is one with mixed results for G2. But overall, they did win it 2 of the 3 times. We'll see what the record's going to be here for Mockit, although I don't imagine we'll see it more than once with it being their 3rd bomb site. Similar lineups coming out here again. So, I mean, that's kind of the thing we've seen for this season a lot, is very stable operator choices outside of defense making small shifts most of the time. It seems like, we used to say like you didn't really have necessarily a lot of mains in this game because you had to rotate around a lot based off of the bomb site and all that stuff. It just seems like the current setup of the game with the way they have the site rotations, the way they have the 6th pick, it's just people are pretty stabilizing on how they want to play a particular map in terms of operator choices, regardless of bomb site, especially for attackers. But KS going to try that alibi again. He is almost caught up to Corey in kills, whereas Kanto has struggled to get any kills the last 2 rounds, or 2 rounds, plural. It's given them a chance to actually catch up to him.
Yeah, Rips is going to set up his few jammers. Other than that, nothing really out of the ordinary here from Mockit. And the important thing is that they reinforce the side wall from hallway into the arm.
And we're not seeing really Ash play
Thank
from G2
God.
for that, but yeah, that is definitely going to benefit them because there was the Buck as well that would have been able to open that up fairly quickly and Smoke to push in there, so definitely a good choice. Interesting that are they going to have Baka Brian playing the dirt tunnel, because usually that's Smoke's role, but I suppose that makes a lot of sense because of all the places to lay safe, that is that one and perhaps behind the little bar inside Church are 2 of the safest spots to be playing in if they don't push dirt, which chances are they will not, with no thermite that is. Because you don't want to waste 2 X-Kairos just to get in dirt. Yeah, at least 1 hatch you can open at best.
And that's the thing, that's how the thermite ban really ties into the map, is that it's not only about making things easier for defenders to play on cache, but also downstairs.
Yeah, it's just basically walls.
Yep.
Hatches are donezo, but walls, much more difficult now. Church wall, dirt wall, all those walls that you don't want to dedicate because you want those 3 hatches when it comes to downstairs. Or at least 2.
All right, so far, G2 just trying to lock things down, at least this time. We'll see a Buck doing his job and taking down some of the floorboards, default cam in there without having to overexpose himself. Maybe he'll be using it, or his skeleton key, for some other bits of work. Maybe actually getting some hits on players that are downstairs via the kitchen. hatches are being opened up as we speak by Pengu, but how many Exires does he still have?
Well, it looks like they're going for a moto push. Throwing and clearing the ADS, though, kind of gives that away. So they're going to actually have to play for some aggressive picks here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so with 2 Exires left, I think this will be a church push here, if I'm not mistaken. The grenade's going to be set up to drop it down on the mute jammer, and there we go. It should have blown it up. No, it did not connect. It just bounced up top.
Well, now they've opened up the top of that wall. That also offers the opportunity. Let's say they want to rotate around with the mute and throw C4 over. They can.
It's still there.
Well,
the mute jammer's still there, so now G2 have to play a completely different style of assault and just walk into the line of fire. As Goga's already come in, he's not able to find a kill just yet. He's just sitting in the smoke. And as Rips is busy fighting the back with the Lion. Goga with 2 kills here. Can't get finished off just yet as the diffuser is immediately planted. Pengu with 1, but Rips will refrag, taking down Fabian. The Lion has been taken out, but he's already done his job, just slowing things down for the defense. Jonas with the team kill, but doesn't matter. Goga with the refrag of Baka Brian. 3v1 as Rips is all on his own and low on health. He'll try to survive, but not for long. Goga! CCC, I plant. CCC, I kill my opponents as well.
Absolutely. Definitely. I'd say the spear tip that absolutely just drove deep into that defense was the Glaz, with a good rack of kills right away from that moto push. Pretty much left it in a tough situation where they were trying to retake it from the outside. Doing that against the Glaz means peeking in situations where you don't necessarily know where he is positioned, not to mention he's got teammates there with him. That's a very difficult retake to make unless you can, say, for example, throw a C4 in the right spot, but they didn't really have the wall set up for that, or to be able to push him from another side, but they were also not set up for that. Now, that is one of the downsides, of course, of reinforcing that one wall, is now you can't use it as a way to peek Moto from inside Arsenal. So it does work a little bit both ways in that sense. So they didn't have a good way to rotate around, unless they wanted to maybe go the long way around from blue and come back and drop, down the hatch into Moto themselves from behind, something they could have done, something the mute could have done, because it was very unlikely that there was going to be anyone watching the hatch up top if he would rotate blue stairs. He had the opportunity. Unfortunately, he was too busy trying to fight a lot of fights through the hole that was available. But either way, though, it is tied up again. Definitely looking like we could actually approach the second tie for G2 this season if Mockit can keep it up. Now they are back to Church, surprisingly, despite the fact that they could go back to Gym Bedroom, which makes me think Gym Bedroom was not really their primary. It was just something they wanted to try, and Cash is actually very likely to be their real primary.
All right, well, we'll get to see maybe that in our next round. Is
probably
you're guaranteed 2 more rounds.
Good point.
After this,
Oops.
wherever may this go.
One operator change, or 2 operator changes actually here. We're getting IQ and Valkyrie. So the operator that counters the defender, so that does put Fabian in good position, but that means a round without Lion. So unfortunate for Fabian, he can't play both, but he is going to offer some opportunity to catch the Yokais, the Mute Jammers, the Alibis, the ADSs, the Black Eyes. Basically every single operator on defense is going to be putting up something that Fabian will be able to spot if he gets in the right position. And we've seen some good plays, for example, inside Kitchen in the past, just firing through the floor at a lot of utility that could be set up inside of the Arsenal, which right now probably not a ton, but there's going to be probably ADSs that could be in the right position, or the Alibis that there is at least one set up in there. You got to be careful though, because you want to hit that from an angle so you don't accidentally get marked, and then of course they could see for you from below.
It is very complicated to hit, to say the least, but
well, there's all the ADSs though, so not an Arsenal. They're really concerned about a moto push. They've got the mute jammer there to stop it from being droned, the barbed wire to slow it down.
And that's why they add on top of the fact that they reinforce the sidewall from hallway into armory. Because this leaves G2 with only a single zone attack style.
I mean, in theory, they can't open the church wall still. If they want to go for that, last time they did struggle to get the mute jammer out, and they're still not willing to bring a Thatcher, unlike Corey being on the Thatcher for Mockit.
Well, obviously, Thatcher being banned here doesn't really give them many options. Thermite, excuse me. But, having to do it, they're talking about the Alibi. Will get spotted, so the Buck will have to fall back for just a bit. And not
did we see the Habana just open up into dirt? It looked like it might have been, Habana was coming away from the dirt entrance. Could have opened up just a prone hole, because no one's going to be watching dirt.
She opened up the hatch. No.
Okay.
Oh, there is a prone hold.
Yeah. So that if Baka Brian is not watching that, if they drone him, which Pengu's doing right now to catch if he's going to be there, that's an opportunity. But unfortunately, he is on top of it, so that means they use the next Cairo that they're probably not going to be able to take advantage of.
All right, Vale still in here.
Wow. As you say that.
3 ADSs that are set for him, and Vale just goes in for the shot. Kent Rocchetti taken down, but Fabian instead refrag here. G2 will have to move in. And is that wall?
Yeah, they open up the bottom of the wall.
And they can just go for shots from below, realizing that G2 are kind of putting a lot of effort onto the Glaz, the Capitao, and the Habana. Can't really do much against the soft wall here. Pengu will walk right into the hail of fire from Baka Brian, who will get the win. And Pengu on the floor, 4v2. Mockit looking to close this one out here to take it a 5, guarantee a tie. That's definitely a position they would love to beat, and Corey will find the headshot. Goga with the refrag, but the Yokai is all over him, and KS with the finisher. Mockit, 5-4. 1 round away from putting G2's first loss here on the board, but G2 can still tie. That's the best they can hope for. Remember, G2 are already qualified for Rio and for 6th Invitational, so it doesn't really matter much for them. For Mockit, however, a tie or a win, especially a win, is a huge boon, because then they'll still be 1 point ahead of Secret, even if Team Secret win their game today versus Penta.
Yep, absolutely, and that, of course, is if they do. Either way, though, maybe this is making it to where it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, Team Secret are going to still be here next season regardless. They're not going to get relegated out. And as I was saying, it does look like Cash is their primary that they're going to go back to now that they won Church.
I'll be honest, with Leon's spam last night, I wouldn't be too sad with him, going to the jail for just a bit, Twitch jail for a few minutes.
Twitch jail.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's when you spam too much copy pasta and you get set aside.
Have you seen the Twitch chat for this?
Unfortunately, I have.
I think we need a bigger jail. Well, we'll see how they're going to defend this time. The operator changes, at least for the attackers, have stuck, as Fabian is going to be back on that IQ, deciding maybe the Lion wasn't being as effective as it was for Mockit. He just wasn't getting the utility out of it. But now Corey racking it up there. Still not quite caught up to Kanto in kills, but Kanto has yet again to find... I'm trying to see... I don't think he's made any kills on attack so far, because I think he was at 11 when they started sides. If not, it was maybe 1 round, but it seems like such a flip for Kanto, who's such a killing machine, to just go completely no kills on attack. So, we'll see though. I mean, Buck is such a potent operator for attack as well. Surprising to see him go that low. But we will have Goga, of course, again on the Glaz, which has been somewhat effective, especially combined with the Capitao. I like the way that they're working together, him and Eunice, who was the former Glaz player. He's smoking for Glaz, especially in situations where there might be an ADS anyways that would catch it. So it's a good combo that seems to be working out. Unfortunately, just didn't work out last round.
All right, Eunice along the outside here, trying to walk from the kennels into garage. They need some information on Vale's position. Fortunately, Vale will deny as much of it as possible. I believe that Pengu has already set himself up in the same position that we saw before on the rooftop. You can use that, of course, through the hole to get some shots down onto Vale.
Fortunately, they didn't land, and he's got other things he needs to do.
Yep, and he'll be pulling his focus on to opening up the side here, and
no denial.
There's no denial. Where is the Bandito?
Yeah, unfortunately, KS on the other side.
Oh, KS, what are you doing?
Well, you know what? This does, I mean, it can work in your advantage to it if you can use the fact that they're funneled towards a specific opening, because a lot of their attention is going to be coming to push that hole. As long as you don't get crossfire defending it, you can use it to your advantage. But Pengu, unfortunately, taking down Vale. That means Garage potentially going to be taken here by Eunice and Goga.
Should be an easy move, and there you go. They did use all the smokes of the Capitao to move up, so this leaves Goga with 2 more smoke grenades to use himself.
They just have to worry about the ADSs inside at this point.
And I haven't spotted the Yokai drone that's set up in a position that G2 used themselves, but Mockit has used this pretty consistently in Garage. Eunice trying to burn off the ADSs in here as he'll walk into the site and go for the plant. Goga in the back using the smoke to his advantage.
Corey, where are you?
Just looking in. Baka Brian's Yokai is just so far away. The glass canister is too slow in, as now they'll detect the Legion and KS rotating back onto the site. Brian trying to fight against Pengu here as he knows there's 1 player outside. It's KS to land the kill. The Capitao was spotted, taken down. Goga will refrag on a Baka Brian. It's a 3v1 as Rip's the last man alive. No, KS is still alive as well with 1 HP. Trying to find the angle all the way in the back on Fabian and Kanto. They're not sure what the last one is. They get the spot, but Kanto's ready for him. And Rips can't find the headshot here. Just for a second. Here we go. Fabian going downhill, jump right in, and Kanto, though, will clutch it. And G2 to tie it up against Mockit 5-5. The second tie in this entire season for G2. In 12 play days, 10 days have been a win with 3 points, and 2 games have been a draw. 1 against Team Secret, 1 against Mockit, showing that EU at the top is still pretty darn close, but Atlanta is a completely darn different story. So here, unfortunately, because it is a draw, we won't have an interview, so we can't really dig into the minds of these 2 teams and their players to see what they thought about it, because we had a few things to